Yo, people, welcome back to DR Sports, DR Transfers. Listen, make sure you subscribe, make sure you smash up the likes. I'm your host, do the most and never coast, Matisse in the building. Big up the comments as always. Listen, there's a lot to get through today. I can already see the chat laughing their heads off on all the different little bits of news that we spoke about a little bit in the studio yesterday, but we can talk about in more detail today and more thoroughly. Obviously, Manchester United right now. It's not easy, okay? It's not easy in these streets if you're Manchester United. Sesko, if you're starting there, because I can see it in the comments, of course, confirming that move to RB Leipzig. I mean, listen, it's RB, it's Red Bull dealing with Red Bull. You know what I mean? It's a simple foregone conclusion. They've done plenty of business in the past. There's no issues with negotiations. It's the same franchise. At the end of the day, he's going there in 2023. That's been agreed. I mean, listen, you could say that he subbed Chelsea, but we never put in a bid. We never went in with a formal offer. It was just a link. Let's not blow it out of proportion. Let's try and pretend like as if we were really, really in for him. It was just a link. So he didn't really turn us down. More turn Man United down. But hey, it is what it is. I don't even know if Man United went in with a formal bid, if I'm being completely honest. I actually don't know if anyone went in with a formal bid on Sesko. I don't remember reporting one. I think with Sesko, it was just interest from Manchester United and Chelsea. No one really went in for him seriously. I didn't see any bids, unless Manchester United did put in a bid. Let me know. But in the end, he does go to RB Leipzig in 2023. That's basically preparation for Nkunku, who will probably leave in 2023 next summer. His new contract has a release clause. And it's a release clause that you'd expect to be triggered. If he performs this season, you'd expect that release clause to be triggered. So that's where we are with that. Yeah, if it's only interest, then it's not that deep. At the end of the day, he's 19 years old. He's still got many things to work on in his game. And he's probably not ready to make a move to Manchester United or Chelsea anyway, as of yet. It's a very big move if he was to make that. I don't think he'd be a starter or anything. So it's probably not within his best interests. Manchester United also have reached an agreement for Adrian Rabiot from Juventus, initial £15 million fee. This is a very strange one. This is definitely a panic buy from Manchester United. Wouldn't have been high up on their list. Of course, we know De Jong. They seem to be starting to cool their interest as Chelsea ramp up their interest on De Jong. Whether he will move or not, it still remains to be seen, because his preference was to stay at Barcelona. Because it seems like it's now going to become very, very legal in terms of it's going to be, court cases, and it's going to be potentially a situation where you see suing and contracts being torn up and all of these different things going on. I would say that, at this point, I'm not too sure what's going to happen, but we'll see. What I do know is that Manchester United are no longer interested. And his preference is to go to Chelsea over Manchester United, obviously, as Champions League football and all of these things as well. So that's what we're on right now. And that's spearheaded this Rabiot link. And Rabiot is a weird player, man. He comes with a lot of drama. We all know his mum is his agent. She plays a heavy part in that as well. Mentality wise, I don't know about the player as well. I think it's a bit of a risk. For me personally, I wouldn't want him. I certainly wouldn't want him. Manchester United, is he more technical than McTominay? Yes. Is he better than McTominay? 100%. It's not even close. Is he the solution? Is he the long-term solution? Is he somebody that Manchester United fans are going to be complaining about in a year, 2 years' time? I suspect most likely. So even though he is an upgrade, I don't necessarily think he's going to be the solution, or he's going to be the player that solves your problems completely. So you have to be very careful, I think, if you're Manchester United, that you don't get into a spiral of just trying to upgrade but not actually find a solution. But again, like I said, you're in a panicky position now after losing on the opening day, so we'll have to see what happens there. But yeah, very, very strange one. Also, Manchester United have also made contact regarding Real Betis midfielder Rodrigo, 28 years old. We know that they were looking at Fabian Ruiz, but Fabian Ruiz is now going to PSG. So that's basically done as well. So running out of targets very, very quickly. You have to be very careful. I know we're saying that Rabiot is cheap. Rodriguez could possibly be cheap. I think, these deals are looking around the 15, 20 million mark. But even though they're cheap, that doesn't mean that it's not going to have an everlasting effect, wages wise. Rabiot's on a lot of money at Juventus, hence why they're trying to clear him off the books. You bring him in now and it doesn't work out. He's not easy to shift. We know Manchester United have got a massive wage bill. They've got many players that were overpaid that they couldn't shift on. And that he could end up adding to that list. So you have to be very careful that you don't just add players because they're cheap from a transfer fee standpoint, because if the wages are very high, you may end up stuck with them even if they flop. So you have to be very, very careful. Also, another midfielder that's been linked with a whole host of Premier League clubs for years and years and years is obviously Savic, Lazio, Serbian midfielder, 27 years old. He was linked with Manchester United as well, but also linked with Arsenal. And I think with this player, listen, box to box, very, 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 very powerful midfielder, technical. But again, he's been linked with Premier League moves for years. And he's getting to that point now where he's either going to make the move or he's not. He's coming up to his peak, coming up to his prime. Is he exactly what Manchester United need? A lot of Man United fans will probably tell you that they need a DM. Is he a DM? Not really, in my opinion. More of a box-to-box midfielder. That can defend, though, for sure. I think, though, you need a DM. You need somebody at the base of your midfield that can do build-up play, that can start things. If you start to now veer away from that, not that you won't be signing good players. I've seen Tielemans links as well. But you will still have imbalance in midfield, and you will still defensively in midfield have issues. And your backline will still be exposed, which is what you don't want. Last season, the backline was completely exposed so many times. Runners were willingly attacking Maguire, Varane, getting down the sides, going down the middle. Fred, McTominay, not good enough. So for me, you need a DM, and that's where the base of your build-up play starts. That's where you're off the ball. That's the guy that's tasked with winning the ball back. That player, we saw Rodri's performance at the weekend against West Ham. This is the level that you need in midfield. This is the level of player on and off the ball. Absolutely incredible, Rodri. And it sets the tone for your team. It makes your defenders behind that player more comfortable, more assured in their performance because they know that they're protected. It makes the build-up play better. It makes the midfielders ahead, releases them and allows them to do what they want to do in terms of Eriksen, Van der Beek. You need that player, and you need that player now, and you need to make sure it's a high quality player. And if you start to get in-betweens like Rabiot, and I'm not sure this Rodriguez guy, I haven't watched much of him. Savic is not really a DM. If you start to go for these in-between players, you're not really addressing the issue head on. You're kind of neglecting the problem. But we'll see what Manchester United do. Like we said earlier, RB Leipzig have signed Sesko. And I don't think, listen, as much as Sesko is clearly a talent, everybody's been talking about him. I haven't seen too much of him. Obviously, I don't really watch RB Salzburg too often. I don't think it's one to get bummed out over, Listen, he's young. He's made his decision. I think, it's smart on his part to probably go to RB Leipzig over Manchester United or Chelsea anyway. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with him. He may not even become a superstar. He may not. We'll have to see. But I don't think it's one to get too bummed out over. You still have to sort out the Ronaldo situation. Obviously, he played at the weekend. Not sure what's going to happen with him. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? So there's a whole host of issues up in the air at Manchester United in that forward area. And we'll have to see what you do there. Chelsea are preparing to offer a world record fee for defender this is Fofana, in a bid to sign him. They're apparently 10 million short on the valuation. We know that Leicester value him around about 80 million pounds. 80 million pounds. Chelsea have bid 60. They've had that knocked back. Apparently, they moved up to 70. Whether they continue with pushing that bid forward, I would expect they will. They're very serious about getting the player. I would say if you're Chelsea, you need to be trying to get that deal done before Tottenham. You need to be trying to get that deal done before Tottenham. You're coming up against a fully fit and firing attack in Kulusevski. Son obviously didn't score at the weekend. I'm sure he'll turn up. Harry Kane didn't score at the weekend. I'm sure he'll bounce back. They didn't play Perisic. They didn't play Basuma. They didn't play Spence. There's a lot more to come from that Tottenham team. And they're very well drilled and very well organized by Antonio Conte, fitness-wise as well. Durable set of players. Basuma coming into that team is going to be immense. Chelsea need to make sure that their defense at Stamford Bridge is impenetrable. They need to make sure it's the best defense they could possibly put out. And Fofana would be part of that. He would walk into that 11, of course. So for me, if you're going for Fofana, you need to have it in your head that you're going to get him for that game. Wrapping it up this week, getting that final bid, that valuation bid in. over the next couple of days. Similar with Cucurella, was done last week, was able to play off the bench against Everton. So that should be Chelsea's remit and their task at this point. And if they're not trying to do that, then of course, by all means, you still get the player maybe, and it's a great signing, but you need to for sure try and wrap that up as soon as possible. Also, Barcelona's PK is set to agree a second pay cut in 12 months as the club try to register new signings before the start of La Liga season. Now, PK, this is his second wage reduction. It's kind of insane that they have to keep taking wage reductions, these players, for Barcelona to continue to then sign more players at astronomical fees. Bernardo Silva, we're seeing them linked with. They're trying to obviously move on Depay. Aubameyang's being linked with moves, but I'm pretty sure they'll only get rid of one. No, Sesko is going to RB Leipzig, for that comment there that just came up. Sesko is going to RB Leipzig in 2023. So not to Chelsea and not to Manchester United. So I think, with PK, listen, he's taken a wage cut. Fair play to him. I think Barcelona, though, I'm not really sure what they're trying to do more in this window in terms of incomings. I know they're trying to get Bernardo Silva. Is it all necessary when you have Fati, when you have Gavi, Pedri? Listen, obviously, Bernardo Silva is a quality player. Maybe you could leave it till next year, but you do have a lot of issues to sort out financially. So I think this is their final lever as well, fourth lever that they're meant to be economically levering now. So I don't think they could do any more levers. Obviously, we know they sold 40% of BLM as well. So there's a lot going on. 49%, sorry. So there's a lot going on. But he has taken a wage reduction. Roma have also rejected Tottenham's bid for Zaniolo. I'm probably butchering that. Zaniolo on loan with an obligation purchase clause. So Tottenham trying to be a little bit cheeky there. They've done deals like this before with their centre back that they signed, Romero. And also Kulusevski was on loan, I believe, as well initially. So they're trying to, I think maybe even Bentancur as well. They're definitely trying to have these loan with obligations to buy. Works out a little bit cheaper. So we'll see. But they're probably going to have to pay outright for the player. Let me see this. Zaniolo. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. That's just how it is. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm shocking at pronouncing names. Everybody in the comments now is trying to spell it out. Oh, God. Let's see what these comments are saying. Why would he downgrade to... Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not sure. It's an interesting one. I think for me personally, Tottenham need a centre-back. They need a centre-back. If they bring in this player as well, it's just kind of icing on the cake. Some of these comments are so funny because I am the master of butchering. Even when you think it can't be butchered, I will tell you and find a way to butcher it even more. Trust me, it's just in my DNA at this point. But yeah, I think really what they need to be looking at is a left-sided centre back. They look a bit weak in that area, or at least just any centre back really in that back three. If there's an injury to one of their key men, then it could go left very, very quickly. Brozovic is also a Liverpool #1 target in midfield. We know Liverpool have issues with midfield injuries. Chamberlain is injury prone. Thiago is injury prone. Fabinho's had some injury issues over the years. Keita, massively injury prone. Elliott actually just came off a massive injury last season. Obviously, Carvalho comes in. They need midfielders. They need one midfielder, I think, to add to that. I think they're starting to see that now, to understand that. Liverpool fans have been crying out for a midfielder for ages. Yes, we know that you're trying to get Bellingham next year, but I don't think that should stop you because there's no reason why you can't go and get Bellingham as well as a midfielder right now. Brozovic did just sign a new contract at Inter Milan, so I think the fee will be quite high if you are to take him away from Inter Milan. But I do say if, because listen, like I said, new contract for Brozovic not so long ago. They are in a title race with AC Milan. They're trying to make themselves stronger. And I think the days of English clubs trying to just pinch players from AC, from Inter, quite easily, to a degree, I think are over. I think Italian football is on the rise. I think these top Italian clubs are trying to build their prestige back, trying to put themselves back on the European stage. And it's been a long time since we've seen an AC or a Inter Milan, jousting for Champions League, trying to win the Champions League. So I think these clubs, if they want to return to that level, they do need to actually, stop selling their best players. So whether Liverpool can really go for him is a question we'll have to see. And And also, finally, Spanish left back Alex Moreno, 29 years old, has rejected the chance to join Nottingham Forest and will stay at Real Betis. Obviously, we know Nottingham Forest are trying to do a lot of business, and they have done a lot of business, but we'll see. I mean, whether it all gels, I know at the weekend they struggled to have many attempts on goal against Newcastle. It's going to be a difficult season for sure, but they are having a big turnover. We've seen a lot of teams come up and have a lot of players turned over in one summer, and it hasn't really made any sense, and they haven't been able to gel. Fulham are a great example of that. Watford finally paid the price and got relegated for that. So we'll have to see. But before we wrap up, last super chat here. Mark says, if you were a player wanted by Barca, would you go knowing that they might get rid of you in a few years for better? Is that a career you want? Thoughts? I mean, listen, seems like a rhetorical question that you have to ask, because someone like Braithwaite, who is now starting to get booed, at Barcelona, even though he came in as an emergency signing outside of the transfer window because they had such struggles. De Jong came in there, it was his dream to play for Barcelona. Now he's getting absolutely bullied out of the club because of a contract that he was offered from a previous president. Apparently, it's now his fault. And probably numerous others, So it's definitely a question that has to be asked. But sometimes in these situations, a club like Barcelona comes calling, logic goes out the window. It's Barcelona, you just join. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So that's how it is. But listen, we're going to wrap up. I've got hay fever, I believe, or something is wrong with my eye. And I'm butchering names. So we're going to keep it a bit shorter today, but big up yourselves. Listen, make sure you subscribe to DR Sports, smash up the likes and the icons. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And like I said, I will see you guys next time. Obviously, we'll return for tomorrow. Alex will be with you tomorrow for more news. Hopefully, there's some breaking news coming up. But we've had our first Premier League weekend now. It's been solid. Some shocks, some surprises, some dubs, from W's for some of you as well. So enjoy it. You've got a whole week to prepare your teams and prepare yourselves for the weekend. Big games, Chelsea, Tottenham, some massive games that will be covered. So look forward to that. And of course, a Saturday football show as well. So until then, big up your damn selves. In a bit, people. Peace.